Hey, it's Cole here. The big question, the one that I see alive in myself at times on this journey, and the one that I've heard time and time again, is if you're experiencing a dark night of the soul, suffering, struggle, loss, stress, does that mean you're failing spiritually? Does that mean you're going backwards? Does that mean that we're doing something wrong? When the winters of our lives show up and they bring suffering and struggle to the apple tree of our true selves, is that winter personal? Is the winter a punishment to the apple tree? Is it a message to the apple tree that it's doing something wrong, that suddenly it's naked in the cold, that suddenly it is struggling? Notice the part of you that in the winters, in the dark nights of the soul, in those moments of deep contraction, notice the parts of you that touch into beliefs, probably inherited beliefs, that somehow it means you're doing something wrong. Can you feel that wake up inside of you in some way? Am I doing something wrong if I'm suffering? And think about how this speaks in so many different traditions. Am I being punished by God? Is this karma because my soul did something wrong in the past and now I'm being corrected? You know, it's a karmic destiny. Is this because I had a negative thought and I attracted some horrendous thing into my life? And I know I'm shaking us here. I know I'm inviting a bit of a controversial, difficult tension into the space. This is good tension. If there's tension showing up, it means we're getting real. And if, for those of us that are interested in the real thing and in bringing our spiritual awakening, our path into our real lives where it needs it, where it matters the most, we've got to be willing to get real here, to ask the tough questions. So when we build our wisdom well together now, it's important in some ways to ask those tough questions, to touch into the part of ourselves where it stings a bit, where it makes us uncomfortable, where it shakes even the spiritual ego. It can threaten even a sense of identity. It takes courage. Does it really mean I'm doing something wrong? And whatever label, whatever cultural expression we've packed into that, whatever subtle or strong nudge is hinted at, I'm having a rough time, I'm having a tough experience, I'm enduring something difficult. Am I being taught a lesson? Is there something I'm doing wrong? So when we dig our wisdom well, the first thing we do is we get real with ourselves, and that's what we're doing here. We're getting real, aren't we? It's not comfortable real. It's not love, light, and rainbows. Not that there's anything wrong with love, light, and rainbows, but we're getting real. It's like, oh man, do I have to get real? Yeah, we do. We do. To dig our well, the first thing we're going to bump into is the dirt. Yeah. And dirt's not pretty. We're going to scratch around a little. It's an admitting the vulnerability. In the Zen tradition, it's like we notice the only mind that can be enlightened is the I don't know mind. And how brave is it to say, I don't have a clue. This is what suffering, this is what our winters can bring to us. Not because we're being taught a lesson, but because there is an opportunity to surrender into, I don't have a cooking clue. I don't know the answers right now. I just know I'm suffering and I don't want to suffer. Yeah? How many times have we been there? So let's put aside the comparing with the beautiful ideas of what spiritual's supposed to look like. And let's get real. If it hurts, it hurts. If there's a pettiness inside of us, hey man, put petty at the table. Petty can sit there having coffee with us. If there's an existential crisis, if there's a deep questioning, what's really true? Those big questions, yeah? The big questions that so few people are brave enough to ask. I'm saying to you, I'm validating for you, that's honest. To dig our well, we want to be honest. And let's be honest about the dark night of the soul. It's real. It is real. Suffering is real. I wonder to myself sometimes how many folks are walking around with the smile, yeah? When you feel and sense that underneath that smile is not a smile. That smile doesn't run through the heart, through the mind, through the body. The smile is a brave smile, or it's a masked smile, or it's, I'm doing the best I can and I don't want you to know how vulnerable I'm feeling. There's all sorts of games we play with this, and the socially acceptable, the way we belong, and in spiritual circles, sometimes the message of the culture of a group, of certain spiritual group dynamics is, you don't really belong if you're not in that peaceful Zen-like space. And I'm not saying that peace is not a factor here, it is, but there's a subtle nuance here. So let's just start with dig. Dig means we make room for our humanity. Dig means we don't put aside the fear, the shame, the anger, all those quote-unquote lower vibrational states. And I'm being a little sarky here on purpose. It's not going to be for everybody. Being a little sarcastic on purpose here. Instead of being lofty about this, especially the dark night of the soul says, it's time to get real. It's time to get real. And that's how we dig our well. We can't get to the water of wisdom. And for me, wisdom is clear seeing. Clear seeing and clear being. It is what we're looking for. But we can't skip the dirt. We can't skip the rocks to get that bucket down there. So, yeah. You feel it? You sense it? You know what happens when we let our humanness be at the table with us, sit with us? You know what happens when we be a kind friend? When we just be kind to anything that shows up. You find out for yourself what happens when you just be kind and be honest. So be honest is, this is how I'm actually feeling. These are the thoughts I'm actually having. This is what's real. Okay, that's being honest. And then being kind says, you belong. Kindness is belonging. Even fear belongs, even anger belongs, even shame belongs. It's all, but that dark night of the soul belongs. What happens to anxiety when you let it be there? When you be a kind space for it? Can you feel it? There's a softening. Doesn't necessarily mean it goes away, but there is something about when we push the pendulum one way, we give power to the thing. We know, we use this language, what we resist persists. And then we spend all our energy in this tug of war, trying not to feel what we're feeling, trying not to have the thought that we're having, trying not to be human. So what if the dark nights of the soul, what if winter is not spiritual failure? What if winter is a part of what it means to be human, just like autumn, spring, and summer? What if the path, the real path, is to be willing to get our hands in the dirt, not to stay there, but it is necessary. It's a first step. And what if the gift that gives us is that we learn to be sanctuary for our winters? We learn to resource for our nervous systems. We learn to be kind to ourselves. And what if, ironically, that is one of the best things we can do for ourselves on the spiritual path? What if this actually is a requirement for finding wisdom, for seeing for ourselves, for spiritual awakening? Although, the language is so loaded, isn't it? For ordinary recognizing, the recognition of what I truly am. If you're curious about the seasons of the soul, I've made a PDF that's a free gift that has little teachings, that has a little self-scoring way to reflect on the 4 seasons of the soul: winter, autumn, spring, and summer, that each require something different from us on our natural path of spiritual awakening. So if you're interested and you would like a link to get your PDF Seasons of the Soul little test that you can use for yourself or for others, and also to tell the algorithm that you like this content and you would like more of it, just send a comment and like and subscribe, and I'll send you the link with pleasure. So we dig our well, and then we build our bucket. And the bucket is that we ask the question that we really want to ask. So the question we're dropping into the space here is the dark night of the soul mean that I'm doing something wrong? And however you frame that, right, however your mind, your belief systems have framed that, it's a raw and real, honest question. And now we're going to send that bucket into the inner well together. We're going to look to potentially see for ourselves. And that I call opening. So it's like imagining the bucket now is hitting that water. It is an opportunity to find wisdom. So let's open now. And the best way I know is to slow down. But it's not to slow down to escape. This is a slowing down to tune in. Because wisdom is not easily found on the surface. So the surface mind, the surface heart, and the surface being, we move through that. We include it. We give it a place of belonging. And in order to open, we open to the deepest language of wisdom. And the deepest language of wisdom is knowing. It's got a resonance to it. And I know these words can sound fluffy, right? But if I say to you, think of someone you love, and then if I ask you, do you love that person? Your mind does not have to think of an answer. There's not a lot of language involved, true? There's just a felt sense of yes. That felt sense of yes. And amazingly, what the irony is that we try to escape the body to find the soul. But the body is a gift. It can be the most profound, honest way to sense, to know, to invite intelligence, to invite wisdom. And your body will tell you honestly whether that bucket is in the water or not. To tune in, to open to wisdom. If you want to do this with me, it can really help. When the nervous system is really tuned into the surface, it tends to be like attention is on thoughts, it's on feelings. So if you want to grab pen and paper, or if you just want to watch, or you want to feel, very, very simple, not very complicated. We are slowing down. And the slowing down is the opportunity to let the bucket get into the water, to open to our mother tongue, which isn't English, it isn't a language. Our mother tongue is the way we feel love. And this love is not romantic love. This love has no object. What if you could open to feeling how much love can be present, that you can love your humanness right now, that you can love even the part of you that is struggling, that you can be kind to your humanness. Be a kind friend right now. Be a kind friend to the part of you experiencing this winter, this dark night of the soul, as if you can make space. If you can tell those parts of yourself that are suffering, you belong. If you can tell the questions that are burning in your heart, you belong. If you can tell the confused thoughts that they belong. If you can tell the feelings, those contracted, painful feelings, you belong. If you can tell your humanity, the courage to be a human being, you belong. And notice what happens. You belong. I'm sorry I could not see you fully. I'm sorry I tried to push you away. Perhaps I'm sorry I tried to be spiritual. I'm sorry I did not listen. I did not give you a space, but you belong. And what if you just sat and open to being a sanctuary for everything that is there? And you just slow down enough. What if you just slow down enough to sense, to feel, to know that it's okay. It's okay to feel what you're feeling, to think what you're thinking. How radical is that? How much freedom are you giving yourself right now? That's what freedom means. And from this more expanded, inclusive, open space, we ask, what is the truth? What is the truth? If an apple tree is experiencing winter, has the apple tree done something wrong? If an apple tree is experiencing winter, is an apple tree doing something wrong? Feel the truth. What is the deeper truth? How does wisdom see winter? How does wisdom see winter? How can you be kind to yourself right now? Breathe. Breathe into this understanding, this felt sense, whether it is just a whisper inside of you, whether it is a deeper seeing, with words or without words. What do I need to know right now? What do I need to see? What if life is full of insanity? What if it is just really crazy hard being human? What if the deepest part of you is equal to it, is brave enough to stand in this winter, but that to find that strength, the strength that is not opposed to weakness, the strength that collapses all of these dualities, to find and know yourself as equal so that you can walk with dignity even in the struggle, even in difficult times. What if to find this means not pushing away your humanity or separating from what it means to be human or creating a spiritual identity, but it is to see it for what it is. From the moment these little bodies are born, there is pain. Yeah. Being born is not fun. Think about it. This is a tough ride, my beautifuls. This is an insanely tough ride. And if anyone's telling you that it's not supposed to be, or that it is some other way, and implies that you're doing something wrong and then tries to sell you a do it this way, no, it's tough. Like, think about how hard it is learning to walk, how many times you've got to scrape your knees, how many times you've got to struggle just to learn to crawl. Aging is not for sissies. Gravity is always winning. Being in a global village of this insane world that is being shook. I think the world is going through a dark night of the soul. We are being shook like being in a snow globe, right? That is hard. Somebody who climbs a mountain doesn't say it's easy. They go, it is hard. So it's okay to go, it is tough, right? And what is the toughest and sometimes the most painful part of it is making an identity that is somehow immune, or making an identity from I am the suffering. So I am my pain, or I am that which doesn't have pain. I am this that is pure open awareness that doesn't experience pain, and planting a flag there. So we've got two flags going on here, which is usually a clue. Whenever we plant a flag on one side or the other, we are not seeing with wisdom. So one flag is, now I've forgotten which side I did watch. Okay, well, this flag is I am my pain, and that causes more pain. And this flag is I am not my pain. I am somehow immune and aloof. I am on a cloud. I am good. I'm positive thinking. I'm a good person, and I know I'm being sarcastic here, and I know it rubs sometimes, but it's to really confront the spiritual ego. And we do it in order to try and be safe. So there's compassion here, and I've done it too, right? I am spiritual, therefore I should be safe. And then life says, no, you're just like everyone else. It's tough. Let's pull the flags out. You are not your pain. Fear is in you. You are not in your fear. Anger is in you. You are not in your anger. Sadness is in you. You are not in your sadness. You are the open space in which these songs rise and fall. That is true, and you can feel that. You can invite your nervous system to tune into that as well, to share in that song of truth. That is wisdom. That is teaching yourself, teaching this humanness to partake of the deepest seeing, but doesn't mean the song of pain isn't there. So to be careful of the other flag, equally dangerous, limiting, binding, equally ego, spiritual ego, just as ego as material, identified separateness ego. Because this is a weird little sneaky, subtle ego over here, right? Because this one doesn't happen to me because I'm doing what I need to do to not experience winter. And then winter shows up, and then the ground beneath us collapses. Or we blame it. Oh, that's a thing that happens to me because of, and we go to war. So I invite you to live this seeing, to tap into what I'm sharing, to let it shake loose the things. And when winter shows up, it's not because you've done something wrong. That doesn't mean there isn't something to harvest from winter. Doesn't mean that winter is not a forge for the soul. Just like running a marathon or climbing a mountain is not about the destination, but about who we become in the journey. That earth is a forge for souls. This is freaking tough. Harvesting wisdom is digging for wisdom. It is being brave. It is being courageous. So sure, let's extract wisdom out of winter. Let's do the best we can to heal, to give ourselves what we need to find truth, to give ourselves that. Winter doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Dark night of the soul is not, I'm doing something wrong. And we be honest with ourselves. We get our hands in the dirt. We be honest. If there's a step one, it's being honest. If there's a step one, it's getting real, being human. And then we find how to be sanctuary for our pain. To either walk with dignity through the tough times, through winter, to give ourselves resource, to build a little campfire in the heart so that when it's cold we have somewhere to sit, to give the mind moments of sanity in amongst the insanity that is around us, to harvest wisdom, to drink every day from our wisdom well, and then to look deeply and to realize you're not alone, even when it is winter. I know it feels like you're alone, but we are here together. And the deepest, deepest song of truth is there is support. That's why I've made this channel. That's why I do this work. I have a business where I teach tools and I teach practical coaching skills. But this channel and this wisdom well work and the book, see there's my book on the shelf there. This work is for those of us that are called to build a wisdom well for ourselves and maybe for others, that are willing to get our hands in the dirt, because wisdom has the power to transform the surface of our lives, to carry us through the dark nights of the soul together.